Manchester United striker Benjamin Śesko will be out for a few weeks with a knee injury. Our reporter Daniel Khan has been speaking to Ruben Amorim this afternoon. He joins us live right now. Hi there, Dan. Big injury blow this. What can you tell us?
Yeah, afternoon, David. I mean, it is a big blow, especially on a personal level for Benjamin Śesko after his big summer move from RB Leipzig in the summer. He will be out for a few weeks, as you mentioned there, with a knee injury. I actually think, on a more positive note, it's probably better than what United would have thought in terms of preventing and not having. He came off against Spurs in that 2-2 draw just before the international break. I think there were fears that it could be, but no fears of that anymore. Few weeks out. But actually, you talk about it being a big blow. When you've looked at some of the bigger games this season, Ruben Amorim's actually gone with other options. You know, against the likes of Liverpool, Matheus Cunha started up front in that game. You look at the Tottenham game just before the international break, Benjamin Śesko actually started that game on the bench. So frustrating for him maybe on a personal level, but also for Ruben Amorim, who wants to see his number 9 for years to come develop here at United. This injury will prevent that from happening.
He's going to stay a few weeks out. I don't know how long, but he's not that serious. We have to be careful with him. He's going to recover. He's doing the recovery. He's feeling better. So in a few weeks, I expect to have Ben.
Two other injury concerns to tell you about as well, David. Harry Maguire has been ruled out of the Monday Night Football against Everton with an injury picked up in that Spurs game. Kobbie Mainoo wasn't also seen at training this morning. He missed that Spurs game, but Amorim did confirm he's back in training tomorrow, so we will see about Monday. But also some positive news. Lisandro Martinez, we saw him in training once again this morning, and Ruben Amorim actually told me he's getting very close to being involved in the matchday squad as well.
We know, Dan, that United strengthened in those attacking positions over the summer. We've talked about Benjamin Śesko and his absence, and that will be particularly concerning to Ruben Amorim, won't it, because of the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations, which means that they'll also lose Bruno for a few weeks. I mean, I wonder how damaging could that tournament be to United's squad and this part of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like Manchester United will be quite heavily impacted by AFCON in the sense of just the importance of the players who will be leaving for a month or so. When you consider Noussat Mazraoui, Bryan Mbeumo, the Premier League's Player of the Month in October, Amad Diallo, who's really picked up form in the last few weeks. And that relationship of Amad and Bryan Mbeumo have been a huge part of United's success in the last month or so. To lose all three of those players will be a big blow for Ruben Amorim. And it was quite interesting hearing from him this afternoon, talking about when he may lose those players. He said that from his understanding, he'll lose them 2 weeks before AFCON, which AFCON starts on December 21st. That date's around December 7th or 8th, which is actually Monday Night Football again. Manchester United taking on Wolves at Mainoo. So we will see if those three players are available for that game or not. Ruben Amorim saying, look, we still need to have conversations with the federations as well as the club themselves as well.
When they are going to the CAN, I expect to have Ben back.
Have you been told yet when those three players will go to?
No, we have the rules. When we have to release the players, we will see. We are doing our job to try to maintain the players a little bit longer, but it's not just in our hands. We need to respect that, but we will try to do everything to protect the club, protect the player, and protect the national team.
Sorry, when is it that they're supposed to go?
I think it's 2 weeks before the start. So we'll try to arrange something with the federations, but we need to respect their wills in this case.
Are you concerned then for that Wolves game that you won't have everyone available?
Yeah, it's a concern, but we already knew, and it's an opportunity for other players. We have also the under-21s. We need to send also a message in that time. So we'll see. But of course, it's not ideal because they are so important in our team, and we don't have a long squad. But again, our academy is for these moments, and we'll be ready.
And of course, they're playing in the Monday Night Football, aren't they, Manchester United, and they have Everton as the visitors to Old Trafford. And it is a year since Ruben Amorim's first game in charge of United, Dan. Does he feel like he is making progress?
I mean, I think you have to say that United have made progress from last season. Game unbeaten run in the league. Also, you look at like the last 3 results as well. I mean, they lost cumulatively 8 times last season to those opponents when you look at Nottingham Forest, Brighton and Tottenham, and they've gone through those games unbeaten so far. Everton will be a different test, but it's back at Old Trafford where they have been so positive this season. But taking on Everton a year on from his first game away at Portman Road at Ipswich, I think Ruben Amorim senses, yes, they are improving, but there's still a long way to go as well.
Doesn't matter what we did in the recent games. We cannot forget that we start in that point. We suffered a lot last year, so we have to take that in account and to play every game like it's the last one or the first one. But of course, if you ask me, I expect a team with more control, more dominant, playing a better football, and the most important thing, more competitive in every way.
1 year since Amorim's first game, it'll be Monday when they play against Everton. Now, he said last season he was always overwhelmed by the amount of games, the fixture congestion. Remember, they were in Europe last season as well. They got all the way to the final of the Europa League. Can you see the change of not being in Europe, how much of a difference it's making this season?
Yeah, definitely, because you got players there that can have a rest, they can recover. He can obviously work with a smaller group, which he said that he likes to. He said the players that he had before is too many players. And I think that's the reason why Man United are doing well now. They're able to put maximum effort in, go and play games, and then have enough time to recover, work on things during the season, during the week, and then obviously go and play again. But I still don't think that, Man United are not the finished article, but they're definitely improving. I've heard, some people saying that, they're scraping through games. Well, every team scrapes through games. Not every team plays well every game. But it's a good sign that they're scraping through games. But
when you say scraping through games, I think this is what you mean. They are unbeaten at home since Arsenal. At the opening day, OK, that's a good thing. But 97th minute penalty against Burnley. Against Chelsea, there was that 4th minute red card for Chelsea. They did beat Sunderland. They nearly let a 3-0 lead slip against Brighton. All right, they didn't, but still, it comes to getting scraping through. Does that mean that some people are getting carried away when they say Manchester United are back?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think it's good to see Man United where they are. It's good to see them winning games. We didn't talk about Liverpool scraping games last year, and there was a few times where Salah scored in the 93rd minute.
Earlier this season when they were winning in the last minute all the time. We did talk about it a lot, saying, is that going to come? But
that happens. That happens with all the teams, because teams are not going to, again, play well every single game. There's going to be periods in a season where, not everyone's on form. There's going to be periods where you might have suspensions, you have injuries. So not every team's going to play well. And I feel like with Man United now, a lot of people are getting on their back, the critics in the media saying, oh, are they just scraping through games? It's something to worry about still. But I think they've done fantastically well this season. And that game that Man United actually lost against Arsenal, that was probably their best performance of the season. But ultimately, they just didn't put their chances away. But again, I feel like now Man United are heading in the right direction. And Amorim's starting to convince me a little bit more now.
Well, I'm full of stats and facts today. So 4 years ago today, they sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? At that stage, they were 7th in the league, having lost the Europa League final the previous season. Today, guess where they are? 7th in the league, having lost the Europa League final last season. Have they progressed in any way since Solskjaer left?
I mean, it's difficult to say. They have progressed definitely since Amorim's gone there. But I feel like
Ten Hag did win the League Cup and the FA Cup.
Yeah,
you I mean, that in there.
You're gonna, when you look at it from a trophies point of view, then yeah, obviously he done well from a trophies point of view. But I think the squad as a whole wasn't performing. He didn't know his best side, Ten Hag. There's a lot of chops and changes. And I think when you keep changing a manager, it's difficult for players to adapt. It's difficult for players to understand a new system every single season. But Man United have stuck with Amorim. It seems like the players do understand his system. It seems like they're getting better, but they need that consistency because Man United have put them big performances in against the big teams, but they need the consistency to be up there. The question is, have they moved forward since Solskjaer? I think when Solskjaer first went there, they went forward leaps and bounds, and a lot of players were performing. But I feel like I'd sit on the fence and say it's pretty much the same until we see Man United, the Man United that was out there performing under Ferguson and winning things and competing every single season. It's a transitional period.
Man United target Carlos Baleba backed to complete a £100 million transfer. It's a done deal. Manchester United have Brighton star Carlos Baleba right at the top of their transfer shortlist after a failed move in the summer, and they might have just been given the update that they've been wanting. Brighton star Carlos Baleba will be on the move soon, amid strong interest from Manchester United. They were initially interested in the summer, albeit Brighton's £100 million price tag eventually put them off. But that interest hasn't dropped entirely. Baleba remains a key target of United Chiefs ahead of a huge midfield rebuild at Old Trafford. Nottingham Forest's Elliot Anderson and Atletico Madrid star Conor Gallagher are among their alternative targets. But now Baleba has been backed to complete a mega money move to one of the Premier League's big boys by former Mali international Cedric Conte. Speaking to Africa Foot, he said, Manchester United have been interested in him for some time now, especially during the last summer transfer window. It doesn't really surprise me, as the club has the resources to sign him and offer him a very high salary. In my opinion, yes, Baleba will sign with a big English club soon. It seems a done deal. Now, the question is when the Cameroonian will leave Brighton. If a club comes in with an offer of over €100 million, his management will find it hard to refuse. And whoever signs him will be getting a good deal. He's a reliable, consistent player they can count on. Baleba, 21, signed for Brighton from Lille in 2023, and he has gone on to make 91 appearances for the South Coast club. He has 2.5 years remaining on his deal at the Amex Stadium. Should he depart, he could become the latest high-profile star to leave the club after Moises Caicedo, Marc Cucurella, Alexis Mac Allister, Leandro Trossard, and Robert Sanchez, among others. Explaining why United failed to sign Baleba in the summer, Brighton chief Tony Bloom said, I don't think Baleba was a saga. There was interest from Manchester United, and they said that he wasn't available this summer, and they went away. So we've had many bigger sagas in the past. But Carlos Baleba, his improvement has been immense, massively important player to this football club, and just delighted that he's with us for this season. Baleba and his Brighton teammates will be back in action this weekend as they take on Brentford at home. Meanwhile, United will be aiming to extend their 5-game unbeaten run on Monday evening as they welcome Everton to Old Trafford.